This is the Weimar-era nightclub in Weimar-era Berlin. It's one of the settings for Babylon Berlin, Germany's most expensive TV series ever. It's also the country's first series to depict the political, economic and cultural conditions that led to the rise of the Nazis.
The Weimar era was probably one of the most exciting eras in German history, and now we have this huge myth surrounding it. We associate it with avant-garde culture, but at the same time politically very fraught, with really Germany a candle that burns on both sides, with the extreme right and the extreme left attacking democracy.
Set in 1929, Babylon Berlin is based on the best-selling crime novels by Volker Kutscher, whose stories contrast the glitz and glamour of the party town Berlin of the Roaring Twenties with, as Kutscher puts it, the social misery almost unimaginable from today's viewpoint. The two central characters are a self-medicating detective, played by Volker Brusch, whose first case is to bust a pornography ring, and a police archivist by day, prostitute by night, played by Liv-Lisa Fries, who longs to become Berlin's first female homicide detective. So, how realistic is the show?
I think there's a lot in there, lots of themes that seem realistic and authentic, especially the ones set in the working class tenement blocks. I think that's quite important because Berlin was really a very working class city. At the same time, there are many scenes which I think are deliberately not authentic, like the much discussed scene in the nightclub Mokka FD. There they're playing around with lots of elements of Weimar culture, art, theater, nightlife and so on, and they mix it up. And they also mix it up with a lot of contemporary stuff, like Berlin techno clubs in the 1990s or today.
One of the main reasons to make Babylon Berlin was to show how all these Nazis didn't just fall from the sky, says one of Babylon Berlin's 3 co-directors and co-writers, Henk Handloogten. He says they were human beings who reacted to German society's changes and made their decisions accordingly.
I think they're getting at something important, that we have to start understand National Socialism not in the year 1933 when Hitler became a chancellor, but we have to start much earlier, and we have to look at the political, the social, the economic situation and how step by step that happened. And of course they see that as a warning for our own time, and if that warning is justified or not, I think it's still something to keep in mind.
With a production budget of around $40 million, Babylon Berlin is Germany's most expensive TV series ever. It's also the first German co-production between a public broadcaster, ARD, and a private one, Sky.
I think mainly it has to do with the situation in international television, with all these high-quality shows coming out on historical themes in Britain and America, like Downton Abbey or Mad Men, and they are successful in Germany as well, and I think the Germans want to be part of that trend.